Have you ever wondered how racial bias can affect even those who serve their country? Today's story is about a shocking case of mistaken identity involving a federal agent. This isn't just any traffic stop. It reveals deep issues of racial profiling and injustice. Before we begin, tell us where you're watching from by dropping a comment below. Let's see how far this story travels and how many people it reaches. The truth behind this incident might surprise you. It was a quiet afternoon in a peaceful suburban neighborhood where families enjoyed calm streets and children played nearby. Marcus Reed, a Homeland Security agent, was driving his government-issued black SUV with steady hands and focused eyes. His mind was on a classified briefing he was about to attend. Suddenly, without warning, flashing police lights appeared in his rearview mirror. Marcus wasn't speeding or breaking any rules. Yet those flashing lights signaled that trouble was on the horizon, an unexpected stop that would change everything. Marcus remained calm and cooperative as he pulled his SUV to the side of the road. The officer approached slowly, his hand resting cautiously near his weapon. Marcus raised both hands clearly outside the window, showing he meant no harm. "Sir, step out of the vehicle," the officer commanded. Marcus complied without hesitation. He immediately reached for his badge and tried to explain, "I'm with Homeland Security. This is a government vehicle." But the officer's expression didn't change. Suspicion filled the air as Marcus's words seemed to fall on deaf ears. Within moments, additional police units arrived, sirens softly echoing through the quiet neighborhood. The tension grew as more officers surrounded Marcus's SUV. Despite Marcus's repeated attempts to show his federal ID and explain his identity, the officers refused to acknowledge him. Instead, their focus shifted to the vehicle itself. "These plates don't look right," one officer said, shaking his head. They began to search the car without Marcus's permission, ignoring his protests. Backup's arrival had escalated the situation from a simple stop to something far more serious and tense. The officers quickly handcuffed Marcus and seated him on the curb. Nearby neighbors watched anxiously, some pulling out their phones to record the unfolding scene. Whispers of confusion and concern rippled through the street as Marcus quietly repeated, "You're making a mistake. I'm a federal agent." But the officers barely responded, speaking mostly among themselves. The atmosphere was thick with tension and uncertainty. Onlookers struggled to understand what had gone so wrong. Marcus's quiet protests seemed lost in the noise, as the community witnessed an unsettling display of authority and suspicion. Suddenly, Marcus's encrypted government phone buzzed inside his pocket. The lead officer, curious, reached for the device but hesitated. "What is this?" he asked, eyeing Marcus suspiciously. Marcus urged, "Answer it." "You need to hear this." Reluctantly, the officer pressed the screen. A powerful voice came through, the Deputy Director of Homeland Security. "Who is this? Why is Agent Reed not at his briefing?" The officer's face drained of color. The calm stop had turned into a serious federal incident in an instant. Realizing their grave mistake, the officer's demeanor shifted. Unmarked federal vehicles arrived swiftly, and agents stepped out with focused urgency. Marcus was quietly uncuffed and offered an apology, but it felt too little, too late. The same officers who had ignored his credentials now avoided eye contact. Federal observers documented the entire scene, taking notes and reviewing body cam footage. Marcus said nothing. He simply got into a backup vehicle, leaving behind a scene that exposed painful truths about bias and misunderstanding. Federal investigators thoroughly documented the incident, ensuring nothing was overlooked. Marcus returned to his duties silently, carrying the weight of what happened. He reflected on how racial bias didn't just affect everyday citizens, but even those with the highest security clearances. Despite his badge and authority, he was vulnerable. The incident was a stark reminder that justice and equality are far from guaranteed, even for those sworn to protect the nation. This story goes beyond one man's experience. It highlights the widespread issue of racial profiling. It challenges all of us to think about safety, fairness, and justice in our own communities. Where do you stand? Share your location and thoughts in the comments below. Let's start a conversation that matters. Because until everyone is truly safe, no one is safe. Stay aware, stay strong, and keep fighting for a fairer world.